Another Russian soldier advancing alone along the Crimean coastline became the focus of an FPV drone. Having covered a considerable distance, the soldier appeared exhausted and worn out. The drone eventually closed in on him. Although he noticed it, there was no time left to respond. A Russian soldier moving alone in the Andreyka area was detected. Seeking cover, he entered an abandoned house. A Ukrainian FPV drone immediately moved in for the strike. The first impact shocked and panicked the soldier, forcing him to flee into a small hut. A second drone strike then targeted the hut, and the resulting blast left the soldier unable to continue. A Russian soldier advancing alone in open terrain in the Toretsk region was detected by the 414th Strike UAV Brigade. Unaware of the approaching drone, the soldier continued moving as the FPV drone closed in. He did not notice it until it was directly upon him. The soldier had most likely been left behind by his unit or had retreated on his own. He was heading toward destroyed buildings as the drone pilot gradually accelerated. Interestingly, the soldier still did not appear to notice the drone. Ukraine's Ram 2X cruise missile struck a Russian military vehicle transporting a tank. Footage of the vehicle advancing in the city of Kadivka, Luhansk region, shows that the Ukrainian strike was directed at the front compartment. A Ukrainian drone pilot targeted a Russian military vehicle on a logistics route. Although the soldiers quickly evacuated the vehicle, the primary objective remained the disabling of the equipment. Russian forces lost operational control of the Lyman region. Months of attacks by Ukrainian forces, particularly the Sinam drone team, weakened Russian positions in the area. Having lost control of logistical routes, Russian forces faced significant setbacks. Russian military vehicles were systematically disabled by FPV drones, and signal jammers proved insufficient to prevent the strikes. The Ukrainian Sinam battalion continues to disable Russian military equipment in the Lyman direction. While Russian military systems on the front line were neutralized, well-camouflaged artillery units were also taken out of action. Highly experienced FPV drone pilots quickly identified numerous Russian military targets and neutralized them with sudden maneuvers. A Russian soldier attempting to cross the small Volcha River near Novopavlik was intercepted by UAVs of the Ukrainian 37th Marine Brigade. Ukraine's 40th Coastal Defense Brigade disabled a Russian infantry boat on the Dnipro River in the Kherson region. An FPV drone strike occurred before the boat's occupants could reach the other side, preventing their crossing. A Ukrainian FPV drone pilot targeted a Russian assault group attempting to breach defensive positions, leaving them unable to advance or escape. Ukrainian FPV bomber drones of the 5th Assault Brigade carried out precise strikes on Russian military positions in the Kremensk direction. Explosives were dropped directly on fortified shelters and firing points, leaving the Russian troops unable to maintain their positions. The Kramatorsk sector holds critical importance as one of the key defensive hubs in Donetsk, and every successful drone strike weakens Russia's ability to maintain pressure in this direction. With constant FPV drone attacks, Ukrainian forces continue to disrupt enemy fortifications and ensure control over strategically vital terrain. UAV operators from Ukraine's Odessa 35th Marine Brigade carried out strikes on shelters used by Russian soldiers. FPV drones carrying explosives were deployed against these positions, and Russian control in the direction of Korakova began to weaken. More than 20 shelters were neutralized by FPV drones in this manner. Due to the region being a critical logistics route, Ukrainian forces are persistently continuing operations to push back Russian troops and dislodge them from their positions. On the morning of September 5, Russian mechanized forces launched an assault north of the village of Robotyne in the Zaporizhzhia region. Two armored groups consisting of 8 vehicles and around 70 personnel attempted to break through Ukrainian defensive lines. The attack was met with a strong response. 7 vehicles, including 3 MTLBs, 1 tank with a minesweeper, and 3 APCs, were disabled. Another MTLB struck a mine and, though heavily damaged, managed to retreat from the battlefield. In total, more than 30 Russian troops were neutralized, making this assault one of the most costly in recent weeks and once again demonstrating Ukraine's ability to repel large-scale attacks with coordinated firepower. The Ukrainian UAS Regiment Phoenix border guards neutralized Russian tanks, unmanned ground vehicles, and infantry. Ukrainian FPV drone pilots, aided by thermal imaging, were able to detect numerous Russian targets more effectively and disable valuable military units, causing serious delays in the region. The inability of Russian forces to take countermeasures against drones on the front lines is resulting in significant setbacks. In one instance, an FPV drone first struck a Russian artillery unit. Later, in open terrain, a T-72 tank became the drone's target. While the tank's armor initially shielded it from external hits, repeated strikes eventually began to cause damage. In the Russian army, there have been reports of harsh treatment of injured personnel. Ukrainian aerial reconnaissance documented the mistreatment of a wounded Russian soldier by the 155th Naval Infantry Brigade of the Russian Armed Forces, a unit known for its heavy losses. This incident occurred in the Kursk region. The soldier had returned from a failed assault and was subjected to severe disciplinary action by his superiors. A Ukrainian FPV drone pilot locked onto a Russian military vehicle. As soon as the soldiers inside noticed the drone trailing them, they panicked, jumped out, and fled on foot. The operator, however, chose not to pursue the infantry and instead destroyed the vehicle, ensuring it could no longer be used. Similar strikes followed, with multiple vehicles taken out by drones. The next target was a Russian UAZ. Once again, the soldiers abandoned it and tried to escape, but the vehicle was still destroyed by the FPV strike. Another Russian soldier was spotted moving near a roadside path, attempting to sneak back to his positions. Unaware that a drone was already tracking him, he continued forward. Once he heard the approaching noise, he tried to flee, but the FPV was faster, closing the distance in seconds and striking directly. On the battlefield, even the faintest sound of a drone overhead is enough to break any sense of safety. An FPV drone circled above a Russian soldier, exhausting him and forcing him to slow down. For several minutes, the operators skillfully maneuvered, maintaining pressure on the target. The soldier stumbled, tried to regain his balance, and attempted to take cover in nearby bushes, but the drone stayed close, adjusting speed and height, waiting for the exact moment. Finally, when the soldier fell to the ground, the operator directed the drone toward him, completing the mission with precision. In another case, an FPV drone located a Russian KAMAZ truck abandoned near a pine forest road. The vehicle was identified as a potential supply carrier, so leaving it intact was not an option. The drone approached at low altitude, targeting the fuel tank. After a sharp dive, it struck with precision, and the truck erupted in smoke and fire, rendering it unusable for further operations. Disrupting enemy logistics remains a key priority for drone units. Shortly after, another enemy soldier was seen walking along a well-worn trail. Realizing he was being watched, he jumped into the grass in an effort to hide. The FPV drone adjusted its flight path with precision, maneuvering carefully before executing the strike. The hit was direct, leaving no possibility for the soldier to continue.